All right. Welcome to another small council meeting. Brian, you look good. You lost weight.
Hey, thanks, mate. You look great. I've always liked you. I've
Slim, man.
always liked you. Tell you, he's a great promoter, this one, isn't he? Best in the world.
Well, speaking of great promoters, your mate Turkey is bringing the prices down, which is great.
Hey, mate, he's a legend and he's changing the face of boxing. And
What a card. What a card.
Wow.
I'm
Top to bottom.
convinced that His Excellency is the only one who can make KSI versus Jake Paul. I honestly think he's the only man who can make this happen. Genuinely.
I think you might be right. You might be right. But yeah, I don't think he's a fan of our space.
You never know.
You never know.
After if you watch his Gibbs performance, he's another Saudi, you know.
Yeah. Do you know what? I heard he rang up Mike Tyson beforehand and was like, willing him on. So maybe I think he definitely put some money on Jake Paul's head and try and fund an event that would say Jake Paul gets smoked, whatever that would be.
Yeah, well, KSI is the guy to do it, in my
There we
opinion,
go.
anyway.
What we talked about first, big lad? What on?
Okay, so Super Card in Qatar just finished. Great fights. Amir Anderson, the cash man, opened up the card. Took on for his second fight. I did mention he took on a more risky fight. You're not supposed to take on a puncher with knockout power when you're building up your record, but that's the one he wanted, and it was walk in the park for him. I really see him as a future superstar. So it was entertaining. He kind of finished it whenever at will. Leon, what do you think of Amir?
No, he's good, man. He's a good prospect. Just activity, isn't it? Especially when they're just coming through, try and get them on as much cards as possible.
Yeah, I'd probably get him about 5 or 6 fights next year as well.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah. Then we went on to Swarms and Pineda. I thought that was a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
A bit disappointing
Yeah,
just because Swarms, I feel like he keeps making the same mistake. You know, it's like he just isn't nearly as aggressive as he needs to be. And he was talking to me beforehand. I interviewed him and he said that, you know, he's a fighter now and he's embracing that mentality and the warrior mentality and stuff like that. And then in the ring, it was just not really there. You know, it was like, why are you point fighting a guy who, I mean, you just look at these guys like Pineda, God love him. I love Pineda, but he's thin. He's not built. And if you push him around, he'll get pushed around. And Swarms had the ability to do that, and then he didn't. I think that he'll probably watch that back and think the same thing. That's what we were saying ringside when they were fighting. Like, get in there and push him around, and he just didn't. Was respecting his power too much, right?
He's got to go for another moment. He needs another moment. He's got to be aggressive. He's got to take risk. I mean, the Ryan Taylor fight put Swarms on the map. I mean, one punch man or whatever the term was. Like, that was a big moment for him. He's got to go after big moments.
I think it's the lack of confidence. Obviously, KSI was his first fight. Then he fought Deji, so he's lacking confidence right now, and he's got a psychological battle going on. So I think he should fight someone like the Wood Savage, just to try and get his confidence back and test out his system, which his coach has been implementing.
Yeah.
But I've got questions about the coaching and not saying that the guy isn't getting good coaching in terms of, like, he moves kind of like a boxer. It's just he moves like he's in there with someone. He moves like he's in there against Deontay Wilder in his prime,
Yeah.
not Pineda. Pineda, fucking hell, like he's not got great body mechanics. Like, you've actually got the better, you know, the better shape about you, the more explosiveness as an athlete. And I'm like, what's going on here? And I can only assume that, like, the way he's behaving is like there's a level of fear there. Is he getting hard sparring where he can overcome that fear? You know, I know there's a West Ham Boxing Club and fucking sort that out super quick. You know, what's going on? Because he's fighting a bit scared in there, and there's nothing to be afraid of. You're equally, you know, as good as Pineda, and he showed him far too much respect.
I spoke to him during fight week as well. I said to him, listen, when it comes to speed, you've probably got the most speed in the whole of Misfits.
Yeah, he's up there.
Oh, you're rapid. But I said, listen, but you got to believe that. I said, you got to know that, listen, I've got speed and I'm going to utilize my speed.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there's confidence with him.
But to me,
And-
pissed
and-
me off is sorry, Mams.
Yeah, if you see him on the bag, or even any sparring or anything he does at his gym, he's a completely different fighter than the one under the lights. And he has to marry that up soon. Something that came to mind was potentially him against Danny Aaron's. How would that go? I think that could be interesting.
I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. That's a good
100%.
fight. That's a good fight.
I would
It's a good
love the
fight.
lead up to that fight, the trash talk. Like that'd be really entertaining.
Honestly, either of the Dannys, Danny Aaron's
Yeah.
or Danny Simpson, totally down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. And then what's next for Pineda? He keeps climbing the ranks. He's undefeated since his loss to KSI. You know, he's an unlikely hero.
Wow,
What
I'm trying to
does
think.
what does he do next? How does he fare against Slim when he recovers? Is that a fight to make?
I think
Nah,
Slim.
that's not-
I think that's a good fight to make for Slim. Slim beats him up.
Yeah, that's a good fight for Slim.
Hmm.
Pineda's
It's an
camp,
easy fight for Slim.
that's what Pineda's camp asked for. They said, "We
Pineda's
want Slim."
weird, man. He's built like a 90-year-old. I don't know how he's so young and he looks that old. Like his body mechanics are so weird. But like he's a bit of a badass considering, you know, like I respect it, but I don't. He is a weird guy, man. I don't know where the hell we put him.
He called that Deji, innit? He wanted Deji.
He wanted Deji, and then did you guys go to that pool party thing the day after?
Nah, I was gone back home, flew back home.
Okay, yeah. He was there, and he's honestly probably the nicest guy ever, Pineda. He's just such a nice guy. He said if Deji says no, then I want Slim. You know?
Wow.
So Pineda's about it. He wants
really
the
is.
big names. He wants the big names.
I think
But
that's
then
a fun fight. I mean, I wouldn't set it up personally, but it's a fun fight.
What about Nick LMAO
Yeah.
Nick LMAO,
Yeah.
versus
you know,
Pineda?
I like it.
this is that's a possibility.
I like it a
Yeah.
lot.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick Element, speaking of him, we might as well go to his fight. Him against Warren, I think it was one of the better fights on the night.
That was great
do you-
action.
Do you think it was the right decision?
Yes.
I
Could have
don't,
gone
but
either
I'm
way.
biased.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know?
I
No,
think that Nick allowed that fight to get away from him personally. Like I think when he was having that success, you could see the inexperience in him because I'm watching it like, bro, you're fucking smiling at your work, you're admiring your work. You've got this guy legitimately hurt. You're letting him off the hook and you're letting him back into this. And I think he's less experienced than the other guy, who was a bit more slick and was smarter in how he fought. But like, you know, he's watching it back afterwards, and I seen this clip on social of him like going like, "Look at this! I don't care if I lost." I'm like, "Yeah, but if you didn't, you'd have fucking won, mate. Like, what the fuck were you doing?" So this guy's got potential, and he's the opposite of Swarms. He's game as fuck, but he's too game. Stop enjoying the fact that you're in a scrap and start thinking about winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a lot of success when he was the aggressor as well. That's what I
Damn right.
noticed.
Yeah. If he put Warren on the back foot, he would have won that fight. He 100% would have won that fight. But I think that Warren was there's a lot that Warren Spencer deserves just in praise with the regard of his ability to recover really quickly is really notable. I think. I mean, his last fight was definitely an early stoppage, especially watching this one. He gets hurt, but then he almost sits down, and then not even 30 seconds later, he's right on the front foot, pressuring again, applying the pressure, late replacement, still throwing from the bleachers the entire time. So he presented a lot of danger, a lot of forward aggression, nice high guard, right? So he was able to take more risks than other guys were. And he made the fight, like you guys are saying, he made the fight look like it was his fight, because even if the shots weren't landing, like Nick has this weird way of kind of drifting away where it looks like he's been hit. Even if he wasn't hit, it looks like he was hit.
Yeah.
So he's got to stop doing that for sure. But Warren just made it for me that it was the right call. It was like when I saw his hand raised, I was like, yeah, it makes sense. And I was almost frustrated because Nick could win that fight for sure. But then I was like, hell yeah, you know what, this Warren guy, like, get him in there, you know, because he's a dog. And so
he gave a good post-fight speech as well, right? Like because he'd been through some stuff lately, and like that was a good moment for the show, I thought, overall.
Yeah, he's a great lad, very game. He'll take on any fight. He's never said no or hesitated or
Yeah,
said,
we
"Hey,
love
can
that.
I have this guy or that guy?" He's very, very much about it.
He's just got to love winning as much as he loves fighting. He loves fighting. He loves fighting, but winning, he doesn't love. Like, it's like, come on, bro. You got to love winning more than
Well,
fighting.
if we're talking about Nick, what he said to me is he's like, "Bro, I didn't even feel any of those punches," and I'm like,
Oh,
"Yeah, but the
gosh.
judges don't care.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
You know, if you're getting hit, he's amassing those points." And
Yeah.
I think he did have Warren rocked more than he got rocked, you know,
Yeah.
but the volume was there for Warren, and you're right. There were times where he hit a lot of glove, and it was very hard to tell because Nick's style is weird, and his head would bop back even though it wouldn't hit. So it was like a stunt movie. He'd be great as a stunt movie guy, you know, because it
Yeah, WE
looks
guy.
like you fooled me, you fooled the judges, you know, in the wrong way. So, but yeah, Nick is a great guy. I think what the good thing is, I think it was a good result because Warren's already asking for another fight. Nick's already asking for another hot fight, and I can smell the hunger in Nick. Now
Yeah.
he's like, okay, I really want to do this, you know?
A rematch down the road would be fun as well because now they've got each other's respect, and that's something you could build up potentially.
And
Yeah.
do we give Warren Jarvis then, or does Ben Williams get the rematch against Jarvis? How does that work?
Is that the next fight,
Um,
Mams?
Jarvis, I got to speak to. I really think Jarvis is very game, and he hasn't had kind of the respect. I feel not that he hasn't had the respect, but I feel like he's a bit underrated. Like he's game for anything, and I don't know. He took this mandatory without an issue. Should we give him another mandatory? Should we see what he wants? I want to hear from him and have a talk with him and see what direction he wants to go in. He wants the big names. Honestly, he takes Salt Pappy, Slim, Gib. He wants fights like that. But
It's
I
too small.
also he is
Agreed.
small. He is
Agreed.
small.
Too small.
Agreed. Look, as much as he wants the big names, I think there's a lot to be said about being a dominant champion. And the fact that he took all of that heat from Ben and kept coming forward, and clearly, I mean, in my opinion, he was going to take over that fight, you know. He showed a lot, and I think you're completely right, Mams. He is underrated. The kid is really tough, good, skilled. I mean, he's only been beaten by Gibb, who now we've seen the level Gibb's on, so there's no shame in that
Yeah.
from memory anyway. So I think Jarvis is a class fighter, and we're lucky to have someone who's like ready to fight anyone like that as a champion.
Yeah, that I agree with that. I agree. I'm excited about Jarvis. I just think I'm going to have a call with him and his team this week and really see what his vision is and what he wants to do. And I like the idea of someone. I think Jarvis is the type of guy we could keep him active, and he could be the first to win a ring. You know?
Yeah,
And
that's
clean
that's
out.
what he should be doing.
Yeah,
That's exactly what he should be doing.
Yeah.
Learn as much as he can in that division, gain as much skill as he can, and then talk about coming up. Don't just try and reach for the top boys yet.
I
Agreed.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though he did have a good fight with Gibb dominated that fight a lot, like by quite a lot, you know. So I think before he tries his hand at a rematch, he's got to build up and make sure it's a
He's not
competitive
even that
rematch.
powerful in his own division, though. That's why I would caution that, because it's like
Yeah.
you're a great all-rounder, but in order to hop divisions, you got to have that power that transfers. And I don't even, you know, the way Ben was going after him, I don't think he should. I don't know if he should ever move up, because, or if he does, it should take a long time. He's got to really work on the rest of his skills.
I think 2 or 3 for sure. That's what I think. I think that, in my opinion, he was going to win that fight. Obviously, the game's not over till, you know, the fat lady's singing. Fight wasn't over, but in my opinion, the writing was on the wall. I thought he was going to win that fight. I would love to see him go in there against a guy like Warren Spencer, which I think he's a favorite in, obviously. But that would be a tough game fight. And like you guys say, it gives him the opportunity to really establish himself, because he kind of was robbed of that, in my opinion. I think that the fight was swinging in his direction, but we didn't really get to see this finish that should have been, you know. And then for Ben Williams, I mean, I want to see Ben come back and also reestablish himself because, again, like controversial win in his last one, and then this one it kind of goes out with question marks. So they're both in a position now where they have to really,
What about
in my
Nick?
opinion, make a statement.
What about Nick for either of them as well? Nick with Ben, maybe, I don't know.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Nick with Ben for sure.
Nick is very game, but he's asked if he can have a little bit more of a chill fight so that he just wants to try a few things out in the ring and says, look, I'll fight a tough fight right after that, but can I have something a little bit more?
I know what you mean. He's still learning, clearly. So yeah, that makes sense.
Ben wants that rematch. He wants a rematch with Jarvis. Right after the fight, he went over to Jarvis and said, "You got lucky. You're lucky." Like, I mean, like,
fucking hell.
Ben is obsessed with Jarvis, right? This is what's going in his head. Like the minute he wakes up is, I'm gonna get a rematch with him and I'm knocking him out in the ring. I'm telling you, that's what's going on right now. Just so you know.
He looked fucking knackered. He looked exhausted when that fight ended.
That's what I'm saying. He's got to earn it. To me, he's got to earn it. He doesn't just get a rematch because he hurt his leg in the fight. Go out there and earn it.
Yeah.
And then obviously Chase Damore is our new heavyweight champion. He gave me shit for the commentary. He was upset. He was like, he actually sent me a clip of where I said, if there's any justice, there'll be a double knockout because none of these boys deserve to be the heavyweight champ. He didn't like that.
I get his point, right? Like, obviously, he's sensitive, but equally, for how long he's been boxing now, I think if he isn't looking at that fight and even a little bit disappointed in himself, then I don't know what hope we have of him getting better, because you have to acknowledge where you're at and you have to acknowledge that, you know, he's fought better than that before. Like, even against Tempo Odds, I thought he won that fight and he showed more boxing IQ in that fight. In this fight, it looked like he was regressing. So he shouldn't be happy with that performance, even if he's moaning about the commentary.
He said, well, he showed improvement against Minicon as well, you know? But what happened is I was calling this during the fight, that he's had a taste of the power of Kells, and that's why he's really, really hesitant on the draw. Even though Kells didn't get a massive clean punch, and Chase told me that. He's like, look, when the guy touched me, hit me in any way, it felt like an absolute hammer. So I didn't want to pull the trigger too much. I've never been in there with someone that could hit that hard, you know?
But this is what I was trying to tell that Tempo kid. I was like, you're not true heavyweights, mate. It ain't like what you think it is. Like, and this is what Chase is fighting now, because Chase ain't really, like, he's put a lot of muscle on, but he could make cruiserweight easily, in my opinion. So this is what he's going to have to deal with when we get more big lads in there.
That being said, just because the guy hits hard doesn't mean you just forget all of your boxing training. Like, it was objectively, it was not a good fight. It wasn't a good fight. And I'll stand on my commentary. I thought the commentary was accurate. And so that's the reality of the situation. The thing is Chase is such a good performer and presenter and build up that I absolutely love having him around. I absolutely love having him around.
I was just gonna say this. It may have not been a good fight, but it's been a great story. If you go back to Chase when he started and how odd he looked in the ring, and you know the controversy of hitting the guy when he was down, and everything that Chase has went through fighting that one fighter in Nashville, right? Like the BKFC champion. I mean, dude, his story to now him being champion is so awesome, and it's what Misfits is all about.
It's true, and honestly, when he was celebrating and how much that belt means to him,
that was cool.
And the one thing I will say is, you could literally say, "Hey, bro, you know there's supposed to be an alien invasion. We've got Godzilla's uncle coming. He wants to fight on Misfits." He'll be like, "Yeah. Put my name down." You know? He'll go for it. So
he's very likable. Like, I'll give him that. He's fucking funny.
Yeah, he is, and he promotes really well. And then look, we got our lightweight tournament concluded. All three of their fights have been really good. A lot of action. Could have gone either way, kind of thing. And I think Cray had his number. And Yudi looked like he was going to take over from the third round on. Then he ran out of gas. And then Cray capitalized again. And I will say that I've seen it's Dean's absolute mandatory we've all decided the tournament was put in place because of Dean potentially retiring, having mental health issues, and it was supposed to deem the new champion. But when Dean said, "I'm back, I'm here," essentially it set up the #1 contendership. So there's no way Dean can not fight, because I've seen him on Twitter, but he can't refuse the fight without being stripped.
I got to give credit to Cray because I gave him a lot of grief in the past, so it's only right I give him his fucking props. That was a fucking fantastic performance, and the fact that when Yuri started coming on strong, I thought we're going to see a bit like Joey here, where Joey took over the fight, but he swung it back in his favor and actually showed a lot more aggression. And that was, we talk a lot about pound for pound. That was a pound for pound performance by Cray. And if we're looking at resumes now, you look at the type of fighters he's fought now, you could argue Cray's resume is better than Dean. So Dean really needs to take this guy out in order to be undisputed, because it's disputed right now. Who's the #1 in that division? Cray has put a big question mark there.
Yeah.
Absolutely, well said.
He was the favorite going in. I mean, you guys all said Cray looks like he's going to come out on top, and he did. You know, did you ever question that throughout the tournament?
Well, when he lost, we did.
I did when Joey was throwing bombs in round 5. But like, do you know what? He's come through a lot, and that's why, like, whoever wins out of Dean and Cray, they're a special fighter. Then they've got a real claim to pound for pound status in Misfits, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Potentially #1 at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
Dean
say
and Cray are my 2 favorite fighters
There you
in
go.
Misfits.
Yeah.
Damn.
Leon, that fight's going to be an absolute banger to watch, don't you think?
Banger.
We need some rounds on that one. We need a good amount of rounds, because with that skill level, we need a definitive winner. I don't want any split decision draws. I need a winner for this. Like,
There'll be a winner. What would you suggest, rounds wise?
I mean, 8 rounds worked really well for Gabe and Slim, didn't it? I mean, it did though. Like
6 for sure.
At
6
least
for
6.
sure. Yeah.
At least, yeah. It's got to be at least 6. Yeah.
It's Misfits. We should do 7, so it's not even amount of rounds.
Do you know what? That actually does make it easier for scoring, though, doesn't it?
I'm actually
does.
game. Yeah, I'm in.
It does. Yeah, I'm excited to see that fight. And then the winner of that should be fighting a lot of outsiders, big, kind of Ricky Hatton's son, Pacquiao's son. There's fights to make.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exciting times, man.
And then Super Salt Pappy. What a knockout.
Jeez.
Fantastic.
Unreal. Unreal.
He's one of my favorite fighters, like in general. Like, I'm not talking about Misfits boxers, UFC. I look forward to this guy fighting as if he's like, Manny Pacquiao in his prime sort of thing. Because you just don't know what's coming, do you? And the fact that, like, we all respect Kenny. We all have Kenny. We think he's a good fighter. So when you do that to a Kenny, you're like, wow, mate. Like, he is back, and the redemption arc is complete.
And
go ahead.
Sorry, it was just the way he was able to win too, because Kenny was applying the pressure. He was doing what he was supposed to do according to his game plan, and Salt Pappy took advantage of that. And I think that's what, to me, really shows and exemplifies his level of improvement, because when you're able to essentially capture their game plan and capture what they're doing and then make them pay for it, that to me is indicative of a guy that can really scrap. And credit to King Kenny as well. I mean, when he was trying to he's like using his head to try to lift his body off the ropes, up the ropes, because his legs were so gone. I was like, that is badass, man. Like, Kenny
It was
deserves
really
props
his
for that.
determination.
It was. But he had
He's
nothing.
like a
He was
zombie.
Yeah, he was gone. Like, his legs were gone.
Dude, the will to get up and beat that 10 count. Like, Kenny deserves all the credit for that. Salt Pappy has had a couple losses at Misfits, and it's been a result of, like, trying to put on a show. Like, that was the #1 problem. Trying to put on a show, go in there, make it a brawl, make it as entertaining as possible. He is that kind of fighter. After he knocks out Kenny, I get a FaceTime from him, and he goes, "I listened to Coach. I didn't do anything crazy." So, I think, he's growing up, he's learning. He's listening to his coach, and he is way more deadlier now than he's ever been. And I fear for anyone who goes up against him next.
Yeah, he's back. He's back. His stock is back up. He's a legitimate threat for anyone. And I think he's sort of settled into this new weight, with the weight loss as well, and he's performing well. It was such a 50-50 fight going into this on paper, and they both had similar journeys. So, where does Kenny go from here? Salt Pappy, we've got some ideas, but where does King Kenny go from here? Does the fight against Slim make sense?
Yes,
Is
that's
he?
what I want to see.
I don't know if Kenny. He probably needs a little break, before he comes back.
Yeah, he
But
needs a break.
we were all questioning what his game plan was.
Don't know. I still haven't got a clue. He was doing some madness in there. Like the way he was walking forward, it didn't make sense. He didn't have
Yeah,
no
at the
idea of
end.
range.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. Yeah.
During round 1 and 2, I just felt like he looked a bit frozen and a bit unsure. And Pappy was blitzing him and then getting out. And I thought, oh, Sal Pappy's he's winning these rounds quite convincingly here. He's going to have to go after him at some point. And I was completely unsure. And then when he did enter in, the best thing about Kenny, in my opinion, arguably the best jab in the business that we've got. Kenny's jab has been fantastic. The way he handled Whindersson Nunes, brilliant. But he didn't jab his way in. It was sort of, he was sort of feeling his way in, and it didn't work out for him. Like,
Before
probably
we
one of the
move
first.
on,
Is he one of
Oh,
the
go
first
ahead.
southpaws he's fought? Sorry about that, Keem. Because that could it's harder, right? When you're trying to
Was
navigate the
Kemper a
jab on that,
southpaw?
but yes, yeah.
Yeah, before we move on, I just want to give props to Faye Sensei. He called it. Like, that was insane. He called exactly what would happen. Like, if anyone's seen this video, Faye Sensei, like, point by point said, this could happen in this fight and it would be really bad for Kenny. And it was like exactly what happened. It was wild.
he actually predicted Kenny to win, I believe, but he gave both scenarios, and I mean, he was spot on. And just what you said before, Kenny versus Slim, if someone wants to throw themselves quickly back into a title picture, that's one way to do it. Kenny needs a break. Slim's having hand surgery. Maybe when they're both ready, that could be a good one.
Yeah.
I the only reason I'm not 100% on that is Slim proved to me that he is an absolute animal. I mean, people have been doubting him forever, but he showed up. He showed up, and to do what he did with a broken hand, and obviously Gibb obviously just proved that he's Gibb. He is who he says he is.
Yeah.
But the thing with Kenny is there's some things that he's doing, some bad habits, as you see by him getting stopped. There's some bad habits that I feel like he hasn't fleshed out yet. And he needs someone that's not a huge risk to be able to mitigate those bad habits and be able to utilize that effectively with his offensive game, because I worry about it. I mean, it was like Leon, you were saying, it just wasn't perfect. Like, it just wasn't a great showing for him. And there was just, it's not that he doesn't have the skill. It's weird. Like, it was like an intangible, right?
Yeah, he looked cold to me, like he came out cold.
Yeah.
I disagree. I think Kenny needs to knock out Slim in order for Kenny's stock to be up there. And I think Slim needs to take out Kenny in order for his stock to be up there. I think they need each other. They need each other. They need to make some waves in this scene to get their stock back up. That's the fight I want to see.
And to be honest with you, both of their stock did go down tremendously. And I'll tell you why. Because Kenny got knocked out and Slim got obliterated by Gibb. I don't know why people are saying otherwise, because Gibb absolutely dominated that fight.
100%.
Greatest influencer boxer. It's all right to lose to the greatest. It's all right to lose to the greatest.
Can me and Leon just have a second to gloat about the fact that me and Leon said Gabe is top 5 pound for pound? We got a load of shit for it. Fuck all of you.
Come on.
Hey, hold on. I've been repping Gibb since the start too, boys. What?
Yeah, but we
leave
got
me out of that.
I was getting thrown under the bus by Mams on Twitter saying, "Well, it wasn't me who put Gibb top 5." I was like, all right. Then.
Yeah, but you guys were being Nostradamus. You have to base the pound for pound on what is now, not what will be.
Fair play. We can't help it. We see the future. Okay.
You saw the future.
You know what's funny, yeah? In Fight Week, I was talking to Roundhouse, yeah? I was saying to him, listen, this can be an easy fight. He was when I'm looking at him, he's looking at me like I'm mad.
I get it though. Yeah. Because it was
Leon,
a 50-50. Yeah.
what happened with the gloves?
Ah, yeah, that was funny. That was funny. So I've gone in there, but Liam gave me the heads up. Like he said, I think like there's some white gloves they're trying to say they might want to wear or whatnot, but just have a look at them. So I've gone into the changing room and I've seen gloves on the side and they're not even in the packet. But before all of that, actually, before all of that, so I remember Slim wearing Grant gloves. And Grant gloves are expensive. And they're one of the best gloves in the game. And then all of a sudden he's wearing Leon gloves. It makes no sense. This is his biggest paycheck that he's gonna get. And then for him to go for a cheaper gloving option. I was thinking,
Was it
wow.
like Leon gloves, a tribute to you? Maybe he was
No.
showing his respect.
Maybe.
Fucking hell.
But yes, I've gone into the changing room. I've looked at these gloves and they look like Lonsdale gloves to me. So I'm touching them. They're like creasing up like crazy, like you're squeezing on some batty or something. But yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, so I'd have said, nah, like these gloves are moody. You're not wearing them. And I can see by the vibe of the coach and the fighters and that, they thought, ah, shit, he's clocked on. But what happens, yeah, a lot of coaches are scared to talk up in them situations. So they might just say, okay, yeah, you can fight with them. Or they're not in the know. But obviously, I've got my professional license, so I know what's up. I've got experience in this game. So I said no. And then the funny thing is, they want the gloves that he really said he was gonna wear because they went behind the ring and bought back some gloves in the packet. So I just checked them out. They was all right. I said, yeah, you can wear them. So they knew what they was doing. They knew what they was doing. They tried to like pull a sly move.
An
But I was
old
too
school
sharp for
trick.
them. Yeah, old school
Yeah.
trip. Old boy trip. I
Well,
know
you
they're
know,
from Brooklyn, man.
Mam's had something
I
similar.
know people from Brooklyn.
Mam's had something similar pulled on him fight week, apparently. You
Well,
want-
I won't name names, but on fight week, someone demanded a big fat check on top of what they'd already accepted as an offer, or they said they're not fighting. And it was done through their lawyer, and just unbelievable, just terrible etiquette. And they were getting paid very well, and it could have jeopardized the whole event. And it's just it's like that's the part that kind of I'm used to it now. Yeah, so I don't get emotional about it. Like I'm just like very methodical. Okay, this is happening. And I said, listen, go back to them and tell them they're not getting a penny more. They're not getting a single penny more. And if they don't want to fight, tell them they'll go off. You know, they're off the card. And they decided to fight because it was a massive opportunity for them, and it was a big payday as well. But it just never ceases to amaze me, even though I'm getting used to it. It's still sometimes you're like, what is wrong with people?
Yeah, the nerve. The
The
nerve.
nerve
Yeah.
of saying
Yeah.
that and trying to hold the event
Yeah, hold you.
hostage,
Yeah. That's
you know,
crazy.
just trying it
shows
on.
people. It shows people's nature.
Do you know that happened
It
to Vince
shows people's
McMahon
nature.
once? I'm pretty sure that happened to Vince McMahon once.
Yeah,
A
it
wrestler
didn't end
said,
up. It didn't end up well for.
I want
for
$1
his-
million, or I'm not going out there through that curtain. Vince
Yeah.
said, all right, paid him, and then fired him immediately afterwards.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
That.
Was the
Yeah.
Ultimate Warrior, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was only a slim chance that would ruin the event.
Well,
Could we talk about Deji, lads? Because we forgot Deji. And
Oh, yeah,
we
the-
didn't forget Deji. I just, listen. It was actually, I don't know what everyone thought, but I was very entertained by that fight. I'm sorry, I was.
Imagine
Sammy-
Deji gets on the mic afterwards. Are you not entertained?
Entertained 100%, but like it was like a viral moment. Like, what the fuck even happened? Like, it was entertaining, yes, but like, bro, what? I still don't know what happened.
Here. Here's the good thing about it. Deji is the type of guy I think that even if he's not externally saying that, he still wants to be a warrior and he still wants to be a fighter. And when he gets in there, he gets reminded of it. And I think that that's what happened. I think that he got reminded that he still has that dog in him and he wants to show it. And he was against a guy that was not doing that at all. 2 broken legs, shattered femurs, or whatever it was. I'm kidding, of course. But so I'm excited to see that hopefully this reinvigorates Deji to come back and actually take like a proper scrap against a proper fighter and remind us, man, like Deji, he's such an exciting member of this scene, and he can be, and it just was not there. It just was not there.
I gave Savage first 2 rounds. I gave him the first 2. He outlanded Deji, and Deji did nothing. And I was like, are we actually going to witness Deji let this go through his fingers when he's clearly 1,000 times the boxer this guy is? And then obviously you see Daly screaming at him in the corner, and then Deji comes out and does what he should have done. I don't know what we're doing anymore with Deji, because obviously he lost all that weight and then he still shows up chubby, and I'm like, how are you in training camp and still getting chubbier? I don't understand how that works. What are you eating? This is coming from me. I'm 21 stone, lad. So I just feel like we're at a situation now where we go, Deji, mate, you want to fight? It's got to be someone decent. It's got to be a Wasabi. It's got to be someone at that level, because otherwise he's not going to put the effort in, and we're going to get more performances like this. And he's got to conquer this fear. Like, he shouldn't be going backwards in competition with the level of experience he's getting now. I don't understand it.
If he's going to fight Wasabi next, he has to give it his all.
And that was the plan and the promise. But let's say, and he said to me after, he said, Mams, I'm sorry. I've got to do better. And I'm like, bro, don't say sorry to me. Say sorry to you. You can be a lot better than what you are. And you've got massive potential. We've gone over it. You know, will he always be a guy who doesn't fulfill his potential? Or will he one day wake up and say, I'm going for it. That's it. I don't care. I hope it's the latter.
How many times have we heard this now, Mams?
Yeah, that's why I'm not even spending too much time on it. What I want to say, though, is if Deji says, listen, I want to fight a guy like Dawood Savage every time I go out, obviously that will reflect on his pay. Yeah, so he'll get paid far less for that kind of fight, right? But what if he says that's all I want to do and just have a little fun and be entertaining? He's allowed to do that if he wants to, right?
Is he though? Because as a promoter, it is partly your responsibility to make somewhat competitive fights. And I feel like you bend the rules a lot for this. Let's be real.
I had to. The Qataris wanted Deji.
I get it. You were in a bit of a fucking position here. But generally speaking, they're not going to be footing the bill every time, right? There's got to be a level of competitiveness here. And he should, I think, understand that and want that. Otherwise, what are you earning out of stepping through those ropes? Let's be real, right? We're going to get onto this in a bit. Wade has just basically picked the fight with arguably the most dangerous, puncher, bone puncher we've seen in Misfits for a little while. For his first go, he's just gone for the hardest guy immediately. And then I've been watching Deji fight for fucking 6 years. Do you know what I mean? And this is the worst competition I've ever seen him in the ropes with. Where is the reward? I don't know.
I'm going to get hate for this, but it's so true. Deji needs to lose in an embarrassing fashion in order for him to be hungry. He's got to lose. That's the way I see it. And also, I want to talk about Roundhouse's post-interview with Deji's opponent, where you guys are fighting for the mic. That was hilarious. I was dying. I was like,
that was good.
Okay, first off, I was not fighting with that guy for the mic. If I wanted to take that mic, I would have taken that mic the second I wanted to. But
it looked like you were.
Wow.
No, I was just trying to be polite. I was trying to be polite to him, and he's like, "Hey, can I get a good word?" And I was like, "Okay." He's just gonna thank his fans and say sorry, right? My bad. Sorry, guys. Thanks for coming out.
The life
then
story.
he starts talking about his leg. I was like, "Bro, are you out of your mind, dog?" And I was like, "Okay, no, this is done. Like, this is over."
His leg did affect the outcome of that fight, Riley. Come on.
Yeah. His coach told him to go out there and break a leg.
Fuck me.
All right.
Well, it's also like it's like we don't have medicals. Dog, your leg was not broken. Shut up, man. No, that drove me nuts. That drove me nuts.
We didn't talk about what was next for Gabe. We mentioned this in the group chat. Obviously, we were hopeful that it would be Gabe versus the winner of the other fight, which is now Salt Papi. Gabe's going to take a little time away. Are we going to look at doing a interim title belt for Salt Papi, a potential fight for him?
I think we've got to talk more about the Gibb fight, to be honest. We didn't really...
Yeah, we haven't even covered it.
We haven't covered it. Because Misfits sent their top hitman, the top sniper. the
No,
Brooklyn
no, no,
shooter,
no, no.
and we
Listen, listen.
dismantled him and his 14 world champion coach, whatever.
If you want
Who
more
was happy-
commentary, just check Leon's Twitter. There's a lot of tweets. Let me
A
tell
lot
you,
of
a lot of
tweets.
tweets.
You know why? Because
Deservedly
you know
so,
it is.
though.
Everyone was. I've never. You know it is. I've never been in a position where it felt like everyone is against us. Everyone was against us. That fight week was. I don't know. I have to big up Gib, man. He had
What do
mental
you want about them?
fortitude,
Because
bulletproof
from
mind.
the outside looking in, Leon,
I agree.
it didn't feel that way to me. I felt like Gib was the fan favorite. I didn't
far.
feel that.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah. No, I felt like all the fighters said Gibbs gonna get knocked out.
Oh,
We're coming
really?
against the sniper, 7-0. The internet, then obviously KSI with the commentary, and it felt like the organization
Fucking
was
hell.
against us. That's why even we got to round 5-6, we was looking to I was contemplating, should we pull the trigger now? But then I was thinking, you know what? If we start going into the pocket to fight, we don't know how the judges are gonna sway it because it might start to look messy. So let's just keep going in and out so it's clear that the win is there.
Yeah.
And then if you're watching it from home and you're hearing JJ's commentary, a lot of these viewers don't understand boxing. So they're probably thinking,
course.
yeah, Slim's winning, he's landing this, he's landing that. When it's not really happening.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is Leon, you said to me before, you were saying that rounds 4 through 8 are ours, and I agree with
Yes,
you. That's
guaranteed.
what I thought as well.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
when I was watching that fight, rounds 1 through 4, I was like, these matter. Like this is the
Yes.
whole fight right here, because the rest is probably going to go to Gib. And I think it was second and third round, I was like, I think Gib won those 2 rounds. And
Yeah.
and then it was pretty much locked for me.
Slim
I was
faded
like,
for
okay.
me. That it's not that Slim didn't, last the rounds, to be fair to him, but the zip in his punches really disintegrated. And when you've got a guy like Gib who's as talented at what he does as he is, you need to stop him with a really strong jab, give him something to hold him back. And it just wasn't there. It was bypassed time and time again. And that's something that I don't know if it's the lack of like meat on the bone of Slim. He's called Slim for a
No.
reason, but
Yeah.
he needs to think about that. Like,
You know, it was.
know.
We didn't allow it to happen. That way, that's exactly what it was.
Yes.
What he wanted to do, we didn't allow.
But you know he
Yes.
wasn't throwing with that authority in his jab.
Because he couldn't.
Even if he,
Because he
wasn't
kept
there.
missing. He was
Yeah.
hitting a lot of air, he was hitting a lot of arms.
yeah.
He wasn't there to be hit.
He
Leon,
wasn't there
does
to be
Gib
hit.
does Gib ever run out of energy?
It's mental.
Like it makes
Uh,
no sense.
Do you know what freaked me
We
out?
train hard.
I just
We
seen on
train hard,
social.
man.
I seen on
It makes
Leon's
no
Twitter.
sense.
Leon was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we didn't even do a lot of long runs in this." I was like,
We done no 0 5Ks, 0
How the
10K
fuck
runs.
does this work?" Like,
Nobody has
It's a
cardio like that.
science. It's a
Nobody
science.
has cardio like that. That's
But the thing,
insane.
yeah. But you know what it is? I've been in the ring before. I've actually fought.
Mm.
So I understand how the body really feels in the ring.
So something that I love about him too, Leon, and this is a testament to you guys and your game planning, is it's not that he never gets tired, it's that he's so consistent with his application of energy, with his expenditure. There's no deviation in how Gib fights. If you watch him, he's just so consistent. And when you
Yeah.
don't have these sprints and these explosions and these lulls, you're able to set a pace and then stay at that pace. You know, it's beautiful to watch, man. That's a testament to yourself as well. Congratulations for
Yeah.
6
Yeah.
first, man. Like the secret
Huge.
ingredient might be Leon Wells here, man. Like you're
Yeah.
absolutely phenomenal in the corner there. But
But
also to him,
yeah.
that consistency was really impressive for me.
Yeah, I think the issue with Slim as well, the fight that, because remember, he's been chasing Gib for 5 years. Gib hasn't been chasing him. So the fight he's built up in the mind, it didn't play out how he wanted to play out.
Yeah,
He thought Gib was
yeah.
going to come forward, stay in the pocket, and it wasn't like that. And then his team didn't make any adjustments.
They
It's a
didn't,
shame
no.
on them. They should have adapted to the situation and made adjustments.
But Slim looked like he was dejected on round 3 or 4 on that stool. He wasn't looking at what he wasn't paying. He was looking at the crowd. He wasn't there. He wasn't
Okay, I
present.
haven't seen that. Yeah.
It was like, look, you could see Gib listening and
Yeah.
taking direction. I don't know where Slim's head was, but he was slumped, and he was around 4, in between round 4 and 5. He was slumped. He was clearly, but I will give him credit. His cardio's improved vastly. He still stuck it out, but Gib was nowhere to be found when he was on his way out. He caught a couple of shots here and there, but on the whole, your game plan worked perfectly. I was saying on commentary, I want them in the pocket because I wanted to see that
Actually,
KO
yeah.
ending. But you
We
took,
don't
you
need a
took the right
rematch, that's for
option.
damn sure. This was a
Oh no,
definitive,
that was
clear
easy
win.
work. That was
It
easy
doesn't
work.
need to be ran back again. Slim would have to do a lot to get a rematch, in my opinion.
Agreed.
But
Agreed.
I think we should all give credit to Slim for having such a long career being undefeated. Like, I mean,
Oh yeah, of course.
you've
Of
had,
course.
he's one of the OG like YouTube boxers that remained undefeated for years and years and years. So hats off to him.
And now we get to
Yeah.
see how he
It's-
responds as well. And we see another side of him, see what he's made of, see how bad he really wants it, you know? Because a defeat can make you go one or two ways. What next? Right, Gib and Sol Papi, I mentioned that. Gib's going to take a break. What we doing? Sol Papi interim? Where does that go?
Well, I got to speak to Gib. I know, it's one thing he might feel a certain way now. This is my experience with fighters after a fight.
Yeah.
They envision taking a 10-month holiday, but in a month they might be like, you know what, I miss it. I want to fight again. I don't know. Leon will know better than me, but I
Yeah.
think we give Gib the courtesy of taking, at least a couple of weeks before I approach, and then say, Gib, what's on your mind?
Mm.
And if Gib wants to fight again soon, then obviously we set up a fight. If he wants to fight someone outside of the Misfits sphere, that's fine. Obviously, we all want to see the Sol Papi fight as well. I think that's an inevitable fight that will happen at some point and hopefully won't be jeopardized by losing to outsiders for either of them. But that's a fight that with some build-up can be massive, or it could be a big fight now. But I think if Gib takes time off, Salt Papi maybe fight someone for the interim championship if Gibbs taken and consider, like 7-10 months off, and then inevitably they fight each other. I don't know. Leon, what's your take? What do you think?
Yeah, we're on a break right now, man. We're on a break. I got Vidal fighting next week. And then after I'm having a break, I got a little daughter. She's only 6 weeks old. So yeah, so camp, I was tired in camp. It was a tiring camp for me. So yeah, spend time with the family, a few holidays.
Good times.
Coach Abdul as well. He's having a little break. He's getting surgery he's getting a surgery, and Gibbs guy traveling. So yeah, after that, then we're gonna get back talk business.
I want to see Sol Papi Gibb, but before that happens, I want to see Sol Papi fight a big name outside of the Misfit space.
That's
what I'd like to see.
That's something we spoke about in the group as well. So I think maybe for the co-headline of the KSI fight, we put something like that on Salt Papi versus a big name, which
He's such a spectacle. He needs a big name to like reach even outside of Misfits for a second. And then that would set us up for that Gibbs Salt Papi fight.
yeah, the views on that fight as well are very, very high.
Yeah, he goes viral a lot, Salt, man. When he does it right, he goes viral.
Proper boxing, non-influencer boxing people are reposting Sol Papi clips. That's when you know he's showing something. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I will say, what a great Thanksgiving though over in America. Like you're sitting down, the cookies or the turkey's cooking, and you're sitting there watching the Misfit event. I mean, that worked out so well. It was so enjoyable over here in America.
Do
I'm
we
so
do
glad.
Wade HS TikTok? Bit of chat about that.
Yeah.
Leon, what was that, bro?
I think this fight's crazy,
Why?
It seems like, I don't know, it seemed like Wade probably asked to get back into the realm of Misfits, and Mum said, yeah, if you want to get back in, fight my boy. It's like a gang initiation. Like he's going through initiation, a beat in this.
On paper, Wade's a lot more experienced than HS.
In verbal?
What you on about? In what way?
Wade has done some kind of boxing and kickboxing work for many years. HS barely trained 4 days for George Fensom fight, and he probably trained about 2 days until he done his shoulder for this fight against Mosiah Pinder. He was supposed to fight him, and he done his shoulder. And the reason, the medical said, he's basically on the verge of tearing his rotator cuff, or it's a minor tear or whatever. And then he won't be able to fight Wade in January if he goes ahead. So obviously, I think we made an educated sort of decision on what we should do. And also, he didn't pass the medical anyway, but we didn't push for it to get reevaluated. So I don't know. I mean, Wade is working, HS is partying, and that's the
Yeah.
way it's going to be up until the fight.
So it looks like it's going to be the disciplined versus the undisciplined.
Yes,
So we shall see.
we shall see.
I think Wade has it. I think Wade has it. I'm just basing that off of that HS tiki-taki slap. That was weak, bro. If you're gonna slap man, slap him. You'd like
Wade's a big
touch
boy
them.
too. Wade's a big, he's big, man. You meet him
Look,
in person,
yeah.
it's like, whoa.
They looked good standing toe to toe to each other
yeah,
because they were like
yeah.
the same height. And I was like, ooh, like that alone sometimes gets you pumped up for a fight. They have a similar build.
The thing that we've seen from HS though, we've seen explosiveness. We've seen like, even if it was against that guy who he fought last time, it's just when I'm watching him hit pads, I'm like, your body mechanics, this is kind of coming quite natural to you. You're fast, you're strong. What we haven't seen is the pad work of Wade. We haven't really seen anything. So as much as we know he can break a fight down and he's a big guy, there's really not a lot to go off of, and that's kind of a bit of an advantage of his. But I think the favorite based on that will be HS because we've seen him.
Yeah, but think about the maturity too. I mean, we think in Ed Matthews versus Pineda. Ed Matthews comes and just completely empties the tank right away. It does HS do the same thing? In my opinion, Wade just has to not even fight him in the first round. Just
That's it.
defensive,
The jab,
a little
the jab.
bit.
Klitschko,
Stay on the
Klitschko.
outside, clinch him, weigh down on him a little bit, use his size, and then it's a totally different fight. It's a totally different fight because
What's
how long are you explosive? You know,
What's the
Here's an
age difference?
exclusive. Wade is currently right now training with BJ Flores.
Woo!
No one hates
Okay.
HS Tiki. No one hates HS Tiki Toki more than BJ Flores.
BJ's
That's-
legit as well, man. BJ's
What's-
legit.
Of course.
That's
Very
the secret
legit.
ingredient.
What's the age difference between the two? Because Wade's
10
much
years.
older than.
Five, 6
9,
years.
10 years. It's 9 or 10 years.
Mm.
Yeah, HS
Really?
is only 23.
No,
yeah, HS is
7
23, Wade's
years.
32.
7 years.
Yeah.
I thought Wade was
Okay.
32. Is he 30 or
Nah,
is he
nah, he's
32?
30. He's
It's
30.
less.
Okay.
It's less than I
Okay.
thought then. Okay.
Wade'll need as much as I get your like Riley's right, like, you know, if you could take him into the later rounds, that's a good idea, but there's going to need to be something firing back in that first round just to subdue this guy, because he's wild, man. And that is a great fight, and I want to give a bit of credit, right, because Mams gets a lot of grief, doesn't he, like from Twitter, because, you know, the fans always blame him for everything that goes wrong, but he's putting every personal thing aside here for the fans to give them a great fight. So well done, mate. Honestly.
Yeah.
100%.
No,
Yeah.
This is the ultimate petty move from me.
No.
I've trapped Wade. Wade is gonna get slumped.
Yeah.
No, but I feel like
Mams
I
is
feel like
literally paying Wade for this, is it? Just
I
to
feel
see
like
him get
all of
smacked.
us I feel like all of us at one point have went to Mams and we're like, let Wade in some capacity. No. Like this is perfect.
Yeah,
This
it
is perfect because yes, Wade's coming back, but it's going to be a spectacle and it's going to be great for business. This is perfect. I
But
love it.
let's give Wade credit, because I didn't call him and say, "Hey, do you want to fight?" He called me and said, "Hey, I'm ready for a different challenge. I want to fight. Can we talk?" You know? And I'm like,
Okay, big
if
mom.
you
That
fight
walkout
HS
was cool as fuck,
Tiki-Toki, yeah.
by the way. The walkout, the fact that everyone was like sitting at home, and the fact that he did a fake live stream pretending that he had a power outage
Yes.
in the house, and then he shows up in Qatar and he's giving it the big dog as he walks out. I thought this was
How
Pulls
great was
his
he on the
mask
mic?
off.
KSI nailed that. Yes, so for some audience, some ages, it may not have been, you know, a bit too WE. I thought it was fucking really well done. And we've tried
Yes.
this before. This was the best it had ever been landed by a mile.
Yeah, I agree. Wade is fantastic on that mic too. He played that part brilliantly.
Yeah.
Didn't shake KSI's hand. Put it on me.
It was
He did it.
class.
It was great.
I don't think it's a
Welcome
bit.
back.
I don't think it's a bit. I think Wade's serious.
Oh,
I
that's
think
why
it's
it's
real.
so
Yeah,
good.
I was serious.
Right?
That's why it's
Yeah.
so good. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
I
in
didn't-
WWE, the real beefs were the ones that like made the most money, and that's what this is doing, right?
Mams, I
Yes.
thought for sure you were going to throw off the headphones and you were going to go into the ring. And it kept cutting to
Imagine.
you and you're like, what is
Yeah. Joe
Well,
Weller all over again.
They didn't have our
Yeah.
mics on. They didn't have our mics on, but yeah, no, Mams, I was there. You were ready to go. Like Mams was
Yeah.
chomping at the bit, but they didn't have our mics on, which was a mistake.
Speaking about that mistake, production has gotten so much better the last couple events. Like it's getting to almost where I need it to be.
Yeah,
This-
it's definitely improving. It's definitely improving.
It's special. Like Misfits is special. I mean, it's funny. I feel like people keep trying to be like, "Oh, this is it." We're trying to discredit it in whatever ways, and then you look at the numbers, and you're in the atmosphere, and you're there, and it's just getting better and better, and it's special. I believe it, you know, and I don't care what anyone says. So yeah, no, it was awesome. I mean, that whole process. I'm buzzing for that fight. You know, I like Wade, so I'm nervous. I'm nervous because I was telling Mans, I was like, whoa, that is a tough fight for him.
You
It
know
is.
why though? You know
So
why?
we'll see.
Because if Wade loses this, I would imagine it would be earlier. Like the way you've just broke
Yeah.
the fight down. The later it goes, the better it is for Wade. So if he does lose, it's in devastating fashion. And for a guy who breaks down fights for a living, that's
Yes.
not what you want, is it? So the credit I've got to give to him, because he is putting his balls on the line there, and he has picked a hard fight, and that's why it's going to make us all so excited to watch it. But
Yeah.
I get it.
I'm more excited about him doing the breakdown of him getting his face crushed and knocked out in round one. That's what
Fucking
I would-
hell, that is hilarious.
I'm gonna
Oh,
ask
Let-
Wade if it's okay if I join him.
Let's
on
see
the
if Sensei
breakdown
can
of that.
predict this fight, the outcome of this fight.
Okay, so two other items. Pound for pound, top five. The women's stays as it was. Men's, it stays as it was in my book. KSI, Gibb, Dean. No, who was it? KSI, Gibb, Anthony Taylor, Dean, and then Salt Pappy has to be number 5 in my opinion.
He better be in the top 5. He better.
Bro, I'm saying Gibb number 1. Gibb number 1, KSI, AT, Dean.
We have
Salt
to vote
Pappy.
on that. We have to vote
That's
on
what I'm
that.
saying. Because we knocked out Misfits best fighter, 7-0
have.
champion.
Well, you
Not
didn't
knocked
knock
out,
out
so
KSI.
we-
You didn't
we-
knock out KSI.
Who's
No, but we gotta look
KSI's
at
best
who-
win?
who's
Who's
he for?
KSI's best win?
Exactly.
Question.
KSI,
Who is it?
That's true.
Logan
KSI has
Paul.
not
Tommy
Logan
Fury.
Logan
Who's
Paul.
who is KSI's best win? Because this is what it's
Logan
about,
Paul.
right?
Logan Paul.
Exactly.
But his drawing power, it dwarfs everybody.
Yeah, no, we're talking about drawing power. Yeah. Okay, JJ. Yeah. I forgot about that. I forgot about the star power.
And who wins if they fought now, Gibb and KSI?
Bro,
I
what
love the
D-Generation
sparring
X?
story stuff.
It'll be D-Generation X versus Eagle Fang.
the sparring stories where Gibbs now talking about like how he got KSI in a spar. It's making me think,
did.
you know what? Let's
But-
say Gibb beats Salt Pappy, KSI has another fight, they make this fight. That is a huge fight at the end of the year, for example. Oh, massive.
And it's writing itself. It might very well happen.
It's just that natural competitiveness, man. It's there.
It's not
Okay.
a fight that I would like to see. As I said, I need 2 Bitcoin before any negotiations take place. Plus, when my Bluetooth connects, it's over for all. All my Bluetooth has to do is connect to Gibb, and it's done. That's it. And you heard, look, you saw the SNC. If you put SNC versus SNC, I've won that. You're seeing coaching against coaching, I've won that. Listen to my advice and listen to the advice when he's with Eagle Fang.
I'll tell you what, I've never seen this community so much behind Leon as they are right now. Like the entire
Leon-
Because no way,
community.
I just tell the truth. I've been
Leon's
honest
like-
since the
his
jump.
moment. But okay. Well, we got to vote, guys. It's a democracy here. Who's number 1?
KSI. It'll be KSI. If we're talking stuff, yeah, it'll be KSI.
KSI.
KSI, Gibb.
KSI, Gibb, Anthony Taylor, or Dean? Which one?
That's the tricky one. Because Dean hasn't been as active, but his knockout
Yeah,
was great
Yeah,
against
it's
Fogarty.
AT for now for me.
Yeah.
I mean, with star power Dean's, I would say he's still a bigger star, but I mean, AT, he's always ready. I mean, he was literally there trying to fight last night, like on Saturday, sorry, Thursday. So
Yeah. Okay, so we'll figure out AT or Dean, and then are we in agreement that Salt Pappy is number 5 now?
Yeah.
He has to
Oh,
be. He
certainly,
has to be in the
certainly.
top 5. I would put him. I would put him in the 4 spot just to be. Just Dean has not been active, but everyone's gonna call me a hater. But that's the way I'm seeing it.
Wait. He did knock out Kenny and AT caught
I mean, Saul Poppy just has these moments, right? Dean has been inactive for such a long time. I know he's undefeated, but I don't know. As of right now, coming off
If
of
you
that
look at the
event,
competition Sol Pappy's been fighting, it's been pretty high level. That I think this is the thing with Dean is if Dean goes out and starches Cray, for example,
Yes.
he's then got a real claim to be high on this list. That's
on.
the
Yeah,
thing.
certainly.
That's what the whole point. If I know Dean gets, he gets annoyed when we don't rank him high enough, but we need that fight. We need Cray versus Dean to really understand where he is, because two good fights against Willie Chalks versus what Cray has done. There's a debate there. We need to have that figured out.
So, all right, let's get this right. We got KSI at number 1. Does anyone contest that, or are we happy with that?
That's
happy.
Yeah, happy with that.
We got Gibb at number 2. We happy with that?
Happy.
Yeah.
Who's number 3? Anthony Taylor, Dean, or Salt Pappy?
Anthony Taylor.
I pick AT.
AT.
Yeah. Okay, AT,
Okay.
yeah.
And then 4 Dean, 5 Salt?
Yeah.
Or
Yep.
okay. All right.
Dean's above.
But
Dean's above
if
Salt
Dean
for me
beats
still.
Cray, he's going higher. straight away.
100%. Yeah.
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 He
100%.
He has to fight Cray though.
That's the point.
If Dean refuses to fight Cray, he will be stripped of the belt, and I think it's a missed opportunity to show that he is the one.
Can I just
On the list.
bring up star power though? Like between Dean and Saul Poppy, star power. Who has it?
They
Oh,
both
Salt
have it.
Pappy.
Saul
Salt
Poppy.
Pappy has more.
And this guy's going everywhere. He's reaching way far outside of Misfits.
Yeah, but Dean's
True.
still the champ. Dean
Yeah.
Dean just has to come and prove it. He just has to show up a couple times and tell everyone and prove it. He's so convinced as to who he is. Show us who you are, and then we will believe you. So
Yes.
Yeah.
if he shows up, he can absolutely do that. So
All right, I'll concede on this round. We'll put Saul Poppy 5th, but hard to do this fight week, but maybe right before fight week, we should have these meetings with our predictions and then come back after the event and talk about it. Like, I
Good
know it gets
content,
so
yeah.
crazy before an event, but that's how we should do these meetings.
Yeah. Makes sense.
That'd be
That's one way to
interesting.
piss every fighter off in Misfits.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
They get pissed off at us enough, man. But yeah, that would be a laugh, wouldn't it?
It would be. It would be. Well,
Mams, when's the JJ press conference?
I don't have a date yet, but we're
Okay.
working on getting that announced very, very soon.
Is that what, like next week or the week after? Or is it before Christmas?
I hope so. That's the plan.
Okay.
I think that's the plan. I think people will be excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
People will be
Awesome.
excited.
Big name?
Yes, big name.
Nice.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
How many
That's
rounds?
all.
How many rounds? It has to be 8, minimum 8 now. The time's been set.
I think we're good with 8.
Yeah.
Also, the opponent will have a say in that, but I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
JJ's good for 8.
Yeah, we can't do 6 now. I feel like the scene's evolved now.
Yeah.
The scene has
Yeah.
evolved for sure. All right. Well, I think that's about it for this week. Thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you again next time.
Cheers.
Cool.
Cheers, lads.
Take care, guys.